What's up, everyone? Carter Maxwell here, and today we have a special guest with us, Paul Liskpy, a $1 million eBay dropshipper. Lucky enough today, I had the chance to be able to interview Paul, talk about his journey as an eBay dropshipper, his entrepreneurship journey, how he got to the point where he's hiring virtual assistants and building a $1 million eBay business, and also some tips, some knowledge that he has to share with you, even if you're a new seller or have zero experience, how you can start your own eBay dropshipping business as well. So before we get into the video, Paul does have his own YouTube channel. He has 11,000 subscribers, and he talks in depth what exactly eBay dropshipping is, tips, tricks, hacks, everything he does. So the link to that will be in the description of this video. Make sure you go subscribe to his channel right now. Now let's get into the content. So Paul, once again, thanks so much for hopping on. Let's give a quick little introduction of, who exactly you are, and how exactly you got into eBay dropshipping.
Thanks for having me, Carter. I'm happy to be here and talk with you guys. And I started about 2 or 3 years ago. I started to try to sell items online for the first time using a platform called Shopify, and didn't really do too well with that. It kind of bombed. And the reason for that was because I'm not very good at marketing or selling, doing advertising for something like a Shopify store. So I kind of gave up on that, and then I was looking for something that didn't require all that advertising, and that's when I found eBay, and specifically eBay dropshipping, because I live in New York City. I have about a 500 square foot apartment. There's nowhere to put any inventory, any boxes. So if I needed to do something to sell online, I couldn't hold any inventory. And dropshipping, the model, you don't hold any of that inventory. You sell the item, then once it sells, you then buy it from your supplier, and the supplier ships it directly to the customer. So I never see the box, the item at all. So that's kind of what appealed to me about the business model. In addition, eBay takes care of all the traffic for you. So you don't have to drive traffic to eBay, because people come to eBay to buy stuff. So they take care of that for you.
That's awesome.
So it's really awesome. And that's what's really appealing about it. What's really appealing about it to me, which is why I started with it. And I started in early January of 2017. Wasn't really doing too well with it at first, and I think that's because I took a course, and the course was very outdated. So I was following it to a T, but that wasn't working because it just wouldn't work in 2017, and especially not 2018. And through the summer, I started to discover what was wrong with it and what I needed to do to become successful on eBay. Just kind of figured it out on my own. And once I started to apply that, that's when I started to do well with the business.
That's awesome. So you mentioned, things are always changing in e-commerce. And so what was different in 2017 that was working, in 2017, maybe 2016? What has changed? How have you adapted? What's different in 2018 that, you've changed, that you're now doing, that's having success?
Well, in the way past, like 2014 or maybe even before that, it used to be the case where you could sell anything on eBay and dropship it, and it would probably sell. And that's because competition was lower. Not many people were doing it. So the way this business model works, what's so appealing about it is that it's very easy to get started with it.
Okay.
All I'm doing is going onto other websites like Walmart, finding an item that I want to sell on eBay, copying and pasting everything, including the pictures and the item description, into eBay. And once it's in there and it sells, then I go on that same website on Walmart, buy it, and then ship it to the customer. So it's pretty easy to get started with it. Now, in the past, because it was so easy, more people started doing it. So it's a bit more competition. So it's no longer the case that you can just sell anything. You got to really find the right items to list. You don't want to be wasting time or space in your store listing items that are never going to sell. So that's a big difference, is the product research. In addition, in the past, no one really had any way to automate the business. Everything had to be done manually. But now there's plenty of software out there that will automate this whole process for us and allow it to work with a lot less work on our hands.
So when it comes to automation, what software, what tools would you recommend someone use, or that you use, to help kind of automate or just make the business more efficient?
So I was mentioning before that we have to copy and paste everything from Walmart to eBay, but there's a software I use called DSM Tool. And what it does is it does that automatically. So I just plug in the URL for the Walmart item into DSM Tool, and DSM Tool is connected with my eBay account, and it just pulls the item description, all the photos, it pulls the price, and then based on a formula that I set up beforehand in the settings of DSM Tool, it will mark up the price so that it covers all the eBay, PayPal fees, and so that I also make a profit on the item. And then, that's pretty much all you have to do. So that's all it does. And then you click list, and the item's in your eBay store, and it's like instantaneous.
That's awesome. So, I mentioned earlier you're $1 million seller. How exactly do you take a business from, $1,000 to $10,000 a month? How do you take that $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month? Create $1 million business that you've created. How have you been able to scale it to such a measure? I mean, are you by yourself? Do you have any assistants? How's that working?
So the way I think this works for any business is you find something that works. You just have to make it work once. If you can make it work once, then you can repeat that process, and you do it 10 times, then 100 times, then 1,000 times, then 1,000,000 times. And that's all it takes. Now, for a business that has to scale like that, you can't do something 1,000,000 times by yourself. So that's where software comes in. It helps automate this process, makes it quicker. And that's where employees come in. That's why people hire employees for their company. Now, with a small business like what I have, I can't afford to hire people locally. It would just be, too much money to hire a whole team to do that.
Right.
But have virtual assistants from the Philippines. I pay them between $2 and $3 an hour, and they run everything for me. So they do the listing of the items, they fulfill the orders, meaning that once the item sells, they go into Walmart, buy it, and then ship it directly to the customer. And then they do all the customer service, all the returns, they handle any issues with the store. And I spend, a little bit of time every day doing all the bookkeeping, because I don't want to give them access to my credit card information or, my bank information.
That's awesome. So how many assistants do you have at the moment, if you don't mind me asking? Is it just a couple? Do you have 6 or 7? How exactly? How many do you have to help run that business?
So I have 9, which is a bit, it's a bit much, and I don't need that many. But what happened was, when I started out the business, I was afraid that if I would hire virtual assistants and train them, or they would not show up for work one day. So I wanted to build redundancy in the system so that I wouldn't have to worry about that so much. As it turns out, these employees are independent contractors, technically. They're incredible, excellent. So they show up for work every day. They never miss work. They're never sick. When they are sick, they work anyway. On Christmas, I said, we're going to take the day off. And they told me no. They wanted to work on Christmas. So, and what else? And so, so the redundancy is just not an issue. Nobody's ever quit. So I really could reduce it to about 5 virtual assistants if I wanted to. But they're excellent. They're very loyal. So I don't want to fire anybody at this point. It just doesn't seem like the right thing to do. If anyone quits, then I will not hire someone new. But for right now, it's going smoothly the way it is. But you don't need 9 is basically the end of the story here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Man, so $1 million business, 9 virtual assistants. With any online business, I know with myself, I've made plenty of mistakes, lost plenty of money. What mistakes have you made, in your eBay dropshipping business that you would kind of like to share? So maybe someone else that's running an eBay dropshipping business, or, looking to start, doesn't make that similar mistake.
Man, I don't know which mistakes to talk about, because I certainly made a lot. So some of them, I covered a little bit. Things like, in the beginning, I didn't ask for help. I thought I could do everything on my own. And that's when I really discovered that I couldn't scale up my business with that kind of mindset. So I started to hire the virtual assistants. Once I started to let go a little, my store started to do much better. Also, things like not even having the correct business policies on eBay correct. So when you go into eBay, you have these things called business policies. This basically sets what your return policy is going to be, what your shipping policy is going to be. And I had those set incorrectly at first, where I was promising people I'd get the items shipped out faster than I possibly could, because, as a drop shipper, one of the drawbacks is that we are relying on these other websites to ship out the items. And if you find a reputable website like Walmart, they're really good about it, but they're not going to ship it out the same day. It's going to take a couple of days usually. Sometimes they do ship it out the same day, but you can't rely on that.
Right.
So that was a mistake I made where I promised that and I wasn't able to do that. So minor thing there, because you just change it. It's no big deal. Another mistake I guess I made was just, I guess you could say, like overreacting to things.
Okay.
This is, at the end of the day, this is a business, and you got to really approach it almost with without emotion to some degree, where you don't worry so much about small problems as they come up. And it's funny because what seems like a big problem at first, when it happens now, I'm just like, okay, that happens all the time. We just move on, and just the part of doing business. Yeah.
Awesome. So you might or might not mentioned it earlier, but you do have a course that teaches like a new someone with zero experience how to eBay, how to dropship on eBay. Could you go into a little bit more depth of what exactly your course is? What you go over in the course and how exactly it can really teach someone how to dropship on eBay?
Yeah, definitely. So the course is called Dropshipping Titans. It's really designed for anyone who's either never done eBay at all, never done eBay dropshipping, or if they have started eBay dropshipping and they're not being successful with it. Because what it does is it walks you step by step through how to set up your first or your very own eBay dropshipping business. So you can have one window open with the course, it's all videos, and another window open with your eBay account, and just follow along with me as I set up my store, and you can watch and set up your own store. Then it shows you how to find the right products to list. I show you the whole product research, and then how to, once the item sells, how to do customer service, how to then process the order to get them shipped out to customers, how to handle tracking numbers. Basically everything you need to know to run your eBay dropshipping business, I've crammed it into one course, and it's all right there. I've also thrown in some little bonuses there, like I have a Word document you can download that has answers to commonly asked customer questions. So when a customer has an issue, they ask you it, just go into that Word document, you're going to find the right response to send to them. You might have to tweak it a little bit, but this is the same scripts I've used for over a year now, and it helps me avoid almost all the negative feedback.
Wow.
And then the same scripts I give my virtual assistants now too.
Man, so those are the same.
Make it as big as possible, so it has everything you need to run your business.
Wow, so that's like the same, just the exact strategies and tactics and templates that you use in your $1 million eBay business?
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So I will have that linked in the description of this video, also as well as YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe. Now with YouTube becoming really, really popular, e-commerce becoming more popular, there's a lot of stir around people talking about Shopify dropshipping and eBay dropshipping. If you don't mind explaining, what's the difference between the two? What's your personal opinion on each for people that are maybe debating between maybe Shopify or eBay? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, so I've tried Shopify in the past, and I'm obviously doing eBay now. Basically, the biggest difference between the two are the platforms. So with Shopify, again, you have to drive all the traffic to your store on when you do a Shopify store, it's your own store. So you're going to create your own, domain, your own URL. It's not going to be like people come to eBay and see like millions or thousands of different stores. It's your own separate store. So you are responsible for getting traffic to that store, that website. And you can do that through Google advertising, SEO. You can do it through Facebook ads, Instagram advertisements, or influencers. So you have to kind of be good at marketing to do that, or good at advertising or Facebook ads. The benefit, though, of Shopify is that the costs are lower and your margins are going to be higher. You're going to be able to sell them at a higher price because you're not directly competing with other people on the same platform. See, with eBay, I'm selling an item and someone else is selling that same item. So I'm competing with that person on the same website. So for that reason, the margins are lower. But the benefit of eBay is that I don't have to drive the traffic there. People are already coming to eBay to buy things, and it's a lot of people coming to eBay to buy things. So with your own website, you might get only a very little bit of traffic, but on eBay, there's a huge amount of traffic coming there. I don't have to worry about getting people there. They're coming there ready to buy. They have their credit card already connected with their PayPal account, was connected to eBay. So it's just very easy, one click and it's bought. And so that's really the benefit of eBay for me. But again, it's really depending on how you want to do it. If you're very good at marketing, you might want to do Shopify. It has higher margins, and you get to run your own website, which is pretty cool. But if you don't have that experience and you're not good at that, or you're brand new to e-commerce, I would suggest trying eBay because it has that, I guess, smaller learning curve than Shopify does.
Wow, that was a great descriptive description. Thanks for being transparent about that. And I know one thing about Shopify is, most people, drop ship from, the one website, AliExpress. You mentioned that you drop ship from Walmart as well. What other, websites do you drop ship products from?
Yeah, that was a good point, and I kind of missed that with the last question. Mm-hmm. So yeah, with Shopify, you're going to be using different websites or different places to drop ship from. But on eBay, I do what's called retail arbitrage mm-hmm. drop shipping, I guess you could call it, where I'm drop shipping the items from Walmart.com, HomeDepot.com, Sears, Kmart, Amazon, all good sources. There's some sources that aren't good that I would stay away from. Ones like Lowe's doesn't have the greatest customer service, and they're not very good about shipping out their items on time or at all. Mm-hmm. and then
Ouch.
Beyond will shut down your account if you buy too many items from them and ship them to more than one address. But those other ones I mentioned are really good to drop ship from.
So I know you've talked about how you've been able to build, this $1 million eBay business over the last year and a half, the last 2 years, How has that been able to, change your life? What freedom, what options has that been able to, free up for you, being able to build, your own online, eBay dropshipping business? So what has changed from, 2 or 3 years ago to, current day 2018?
So I live in New York City, which is one of the most expensive cities in the world. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to live here. It's expensive. Mm-hmm. So this online business has provided me with a way to feel more comfortable living in my own home, mm-hmm. not so stressed out about making money. I'm going on vacations now that I never thought I could afford in the past. Mm-hmm. Like this January, a few months ago, I went sailing in Florida, and we always wanted to learn how to sail, but it's a little bit expensive to take this course we took. We spent a week on a sailboat, but we were able to afford it. We had a lot of fun, and we were away from land, like no Wi-Fi, no cell signal. But my virtual assistants were running the store for me. I was making money on vacation. It was really cool, and yeah, just little things like that. It's nice. I went to a friend's wedding, and I was able to give like a nice gift, and that's something that I wouldn't be able to afford in the past. So just, things like that, the simple little things are just so much nicer when you have the money to do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, before we wrap up this interview, are there any, advice, any tips that you'd like to give to, someone that's looking into maybe drop shipping on eBay, or that's struggling, building their own business? What tips or advice would you have for someone that's wanting to get into eBay drop shipping?
Yeah, if you're interested in it and you don't know too much about it, check out my channel. I have a ton of videos about it. It's pretty much all I talk about. And then see if it's for you. Literally, just watch like as many of them as you want, mm-hmm. so you get a good idea of what it's about. And then feel free to ask me any questions. If you drop your question into the comments of any of my videos, I'll answer them. I respond to every question. So yeah, just let me know what's bothering you about it, or what struggles are, and I'd be happy to help you with it.
Awesome. So guys, remember his course, his YouTube channel will both be in the description of this video. So make sure you check those out. Paul, thanks for hopping on this interview. You dropped a lot of knowledge, and I think everyone's going to take a lot from it. And if you would like to learn more, make sure you go check out either his course or his YouTube channel. And maybe we'll do some interviews in the future.
Definitely. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Thanks you. See you, Paul.